Hey everybody. So it's been a while since I created one of these for you guys, but today what we're going to do is we're going to create a skateboard deck. Um, what we're going to be doing here is learning how to use the sweep tool and 3-point arc and some basic other commands to create, well, the shape that you have in front of you right now. So let's go ahead and get into it. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and create a new part studio. I'm going to go in here and create my new part studio. I'm going to go ahead and rename my part studio to a deck because that's what we're creating, the skateboard's deck. And now that we have the deck, we're going to go ahead and turn off the top plane for right now because we're not going to use it for quite a while. And we're going to use the right and the front plane. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a sketch on my front plane. I'm going to take my view cube here and make sure it's on my front side, so I use it, create my sketch. Now, pretty simple idea. 3-point, center point, rectangle. And I'm going to click my center point rectangle. Now I'm just going to extrude it like that. And I'm going to make this 100 millimeters by a total of 16 millimeters. That's it. That's all we need to do. So following that, as you know, a skateboard has this rounded curve. So we're going to create this rounded curve from the center that comes up around the sides. So to do that, we're going to come in here, we're going to take our point tool. Point tool is right here. And I'm going to place this here. I'm not going to place it dead center. If we do that, it's going to mess up. So we're going to place it just above the center, right here. And then I'm going to place another one up here, just above and to the left of the first one. Now what we're going to do is we're going to dimension that. I'm going to hit my dimension, which is D on the keyboard, shortcut D, or I'm going to come up here and click on that, and I'm going to dimension the bottom left corner to the first point. And I'm going to dimension here the height. So I'm going to dimension height by just clicking on it and dragging to the left, and I'm going to make that 8 millimeters. Okay, 8 millimeters, make sure that's 8 millimeters. There you go. And then I'm going to dimension the other one, the point above it, to be exactly at 15.337 millimeters. Okay, so now we have those two done. Now we're going to dimension the widths. So I'm going to come in here and just going to press the bottom corner, right here, and here. Okay, and I'm going to make this at a distance of 57.897. So we're going to go to 57.897 millimeters. And that puts me at our first location. Okay. Now, this one right here is going to be dimensioned from the topmost left corner. And we're going to put this at 50.442 millimeters. Now, I already am in millimeters. You don't have to, so I don't have to do that, but there you go. So now you have this right here in this kind of design. Still doesn't look like a skateboard, but wait. We're going to come in here, and you're going to use our arc tool. We're going to use the 3-point arc because it honestly works better for me. And I'm just going to click on the 3-point arc, and I'm just going to go click and click. Now, doesn't matter how big it is because you're going to dimension this to 177, not 1 point, sorry, 177.062 millimeters to create that nice gentle slope. And then we're going to do this again, okay? And we're going to create another angle right here. And I'm going to make this into a 193.062 millimeters, just like that. All right, so now you see how this measurement jumped all the way up there? Yeah, it can do that from time to time. You can just drag it down here like this and just get it nice and close so you can see it. There you go. All right, so here's the problem. have a slide problem. And that is going to be that we did a little boo-boo. We made a mistake. It doesn't really matter. It'll be fine. But you could reverse these numbers very easily and it would work the same way. So if I dimension the first one, the other way, it would give me a similar design. It doesn't really matter, but you can do it the other way too. So, I mean, I'll show you what it looks like in the other dimension. I recently discovered that I kind of like this pattern better, but again, that's up to me. I'm gonna just undo these and dimension this one first, okay? And then if I do this at 177.062, it gives me that kind of design. And then if I do another 3-point arc from here to here, and I put this 193.062 like that, kind of gives me the same design. Honestly, it's a preference. This is a lot easier to do sometimes for most people, but again, it really won't matter in the end. So I'm going to come in here and just use my line tool, put a nice horizontal line there, connecting them through, and I'm done. But now I got to do all this to the other side, or we can do something simple. So I'm going to take my line tool from the center point and make just a small little line connecting there. Come up here to my linear pattern tool, make sure I take my transform. And in here, next to it, is where I want to be. So I want to keep this tool open because we're going to use that in a bit. So I'm going to come over here to mirror, click on the mirror line. See, click on the mirror line, click on mirror, and then it says select entities. So if I go click, 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 it automatically creates all of the shape that I want on the other side. What I'm going to tell you now is you can get rid of these center point lines in here that are connecting it. They don't have to be there. But if you want to leave them there, they really are not going to mess up your project at all. So I'm going to finish my sketch, and then I'm going to turn off the front plane. So now we're going to go to work on the right plane. So now we're going to create a new sketch on the right plane. I'm going to make sure my view cube is on that right face. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to create a bunch of lines, and I'm going to use the 3-point arc tool again. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create another line. We're going to use the mirror tool again. And then I'm going to create a line horizontal, perfectly horizontal, 300 millimeters. Now, if I press the F key on my keyboard, it zooms out to fit. And there you go. So here we are. Now, I'm going to use my point tool again, and I'm going to create 3 points this time, just like I did before, but one is going to be slightly below the line, like here, and then I'm going to put 2 more ascending that in a nice horizontal line. Now, what we're going to have here, well, kind of angled line, you know what I mean. So what comes next is our dimensions. So again, hit D or dimension here, and I'm going to dimension this one first. I'm going to want to lock it in place, and I'm going to do it at a dimension of the distance from that point of 38.07 millimeters, and then a height, putting to the left there, of 4.183 millimeters. Next, we're going to do the same thing to the other one above it. I'm going to go to a height of 5.719 millimeters. And if I pull down here, I want this at a distance of 27.578 millimeters. Now, it doesn't seem like that's much of a difference, but it does have quite a significant change in here. And last, we're going to dimension one last time. I'm going to come in here, and I want to dimension the height of this to be 14.46 millimeters. And then I want it to be at a distance but we can't get it. It's having trouble. Remember how I told you the transform tool? Come into transform tool, click on it, and here are the control bars for the control and transform tools. So if I click on this and just drag it slightly over to the side, click once, boom. Now, I'm going to go ahead and dimension this again. Now you see my dimension disappeared because I broke it using that tool. Again, it's still there, the exact same spot, never changed. I'm just going to put that dimension back. But now I'm going to come in here, and it's easier for me to dimension this. And I'm going to dimension this to 26.203. Again, you never have to delete anything. You just edit it. Transform can change a lot of directionalities. I know we talked about this in the past. All right, so now we have this set up the way we want. Again, back to the 3-point arc, my go-to tool for most things here. And we're going to set up our first 3-point arc. Our 3-point arc is going to be at 175.338 millimeters. Gentle little slope right there. Our second 3-point arc is going to be at 58.145 millimeters. And then that's it. We're going to use the line tool. And the line tool is just going to connect like that. And then we're going to replicate this on the other side, smooth and easy. Again, remember that little line tool I put in here? Right at the beginning. Come in here to my mirror. Click on my mirror line. See how it says now change the entities? So now I go click, 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 and click. It died. I lost it by accident. So now I gotta just make sure I click on these. Again, click on the mirror line. If you accidentally click out of it, it's fine because it'll automatically just catch up to where it was. So now I have this done. Now I can turn off my right plane. Go ahead and return on your top plane. You're gonna need it in about a couple seconds. So I have this design here. I'm gonna come up here to my sweep tool, which is next to revolve. And the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna click on sketch 1, and that selected the entire sketch. You have this red box that shows up the sweep path. I'm gonna click on the sweep path, and I have to select each one of the lines, segments. And once I do, it does that. Now, if you accidentally click on the wrong line segment, for example, this part right here that's not connected to anything, it'll crash it. But don't crash out, because it is fine. You just have to finish connecting the other segments to the rest of the line, and it turns yellow again, and you're done. Bing, bang, boom, done. So now we have one more thing. This doesn't look like a skateboard yet. It kind of looks like a, snowboard, a weird snowboard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an offset plane. I'm going to click on the plane and click here on this center rectangle that's in there. And on this center point rectangle, we're going to create an offset plane. Make sure the offset is here. And I'm going to lift this up, and I'm going to go to about 65 millimeters. Okay. So now I have 65 millimeter offset plane. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and work on this top plane right here. We're going to create a new sketch on this plane. And I'm going to go ahead and just simply use a center point rectangle. Boom, like that. And the dimensions of the center point rectangle are going to be quite simple. It's going to be 176.803 millimeters. And then the height is going to be 654.318 millimeters. Okay, so now it doesn't go all the way across. You can if you want to experiment with, if you want to make a better design, go ahead, try it out. I like this because you'll see what happens in a couple seconds. But this is a rectangle. It doesn't have the shape here that we need for a rectangle. So we're going to add the final curve. Again, back to the 3-point circle, 3-point arc, I should say. Come in here, just click on one corner, click on the other corner, stretch it out just a bit, and make this a radius of 94.574, right there, 97.574, and you got that. Make it life easy. Put a line in the middle right there, and then just go to your mirror tool. Again, mirror line, click, boom, and you're done. Okay, now we have the shape. Again, still not a skateboard. We can solve that. Finish the sketch, come in here into your extrude, change it to intersect. Okay. So now the first thing you want to do is you want to select sketch 1. Right? You want to go to your sketch 1. And in this case, when I mean sketch 1, I want to go into the extrude I made. So I want to click on this right here. This is going to be my first thing that I want. Okay. So face of sketch 1. Again, doesn't seem to work that way, right? So that's not going to work. We're going to go through all through, make sure that's all through. And we're going to merge with part 1. This down here should be part 1. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go with this right there. Now, if you make sure that the merge scope down here is part 1, and you make sure that your face or sketch is going to be sketch 3, it'll automatically cut through. And you see how everything else is grayed out? That means the only thing that's being left is this. Now, that looks like a skateboard. I'll turn off my plane. Congratulations. You now have the ability to create a skateboard deck. Modify it to however you feel comfortable and however you feel that it'll look best for you. But congratulations, guys. I'll see you in the next video.